Hello, hello. So lots of people with injuries write me. I write kind of freely about my injury and my life and my insights and also how things have gotten dramatically better. And people write me. These are people who are struggling with their own injuries and they don't care so much about my particular injury. They want to think about what should they do. When somebody gets injured, it's very clear what they've lost. Imagine that you even lost a pinky. Just very clear what you've lost. What are you going to gain? How are things going to look forward? Much, much tougher. There's a very interesting psychological illusion where you ask people, in the last 10 years, how much have you changed? And people say a lot. I've changed so much. It's unbelievable. And then you say, in the next 10 years, how much are you going to change? People say, not so much. The reality is that the change in the next 10 years is going to be very much like the last 10 years. Maybe slightly slower, but it's not going to be that this one changed a lot and this one doesn't. But when we look back in the last 10 years, we see how much we change. When we think about the next 10 years, we say we've basically arrived. And because of that, injuries are very tough. Because people say, well, I'm injured. I can see what I've lost, but I've kind of arrived. I'm where I am. And now I can see what I've lost. I can't see how I'm going to change. So people write me about this. And I try to say a few things to them. The first thing I say is, look what you have accomplished. Look what you've been able to deal with. You've dealt with this tremendous injury. Would you have believed that you would have been able to deal with this injury? Would you believe that you could come out of it with so much strength and resilience that you could manage so much pain and complexity and so on? So I say, first of all, let's review this very, very tough period. Let's congratulate you for having really some amazing inside powers to withstand this. The second thing I ask people to reflect on is on the people around them. Look at the people around you. What do you have to say about them? What was the experience compared to what you would expected before your injuries? Did people live up to their expectation, exceeded it, disappoint you? What have you learned about the world and how much support you have? And most people say that they have more support than what they imagined, than what they believed. The next thing I said, okay, so here's where we are. The person you were is gone. If it's a small injury, less so, but if it's a substantial injury. There's no point in lamenting and being sorry about that person being gone. That person is gone and you're now a new person. And our task is not to think about the old person. What would the old person would have wanted to do? They would have wanted to play the piano. That's not going to work out. The real point is to think about what's the new person going to look like, and going into that perspective as quickly as possible. So now, let's focus. Let's realize that the last 10 years, the change will remain. There's going to be a lot of change. And these next 10 years are going to be the search for what is your role in life. What can you do with your injury? What can you do with your limitations and abilities in this next chapter? So, let's start with appreciation of who you are, appreciation of the people around you that most likely showed you a lot of support and so on. And the third thing is, go on a search for the next chapter. Don't mourn the person that you used to be with the skills you used to have too much. Focus on the skills and abilities and so on you'll discover in the next 10 years. At least people say nice things when I say this. I hope they're not just being polite. But I think those are three important elements. So to all of us, recognizing our strength, the social support around us, and to discover who will be in this next chapter, whether we got injured or not. All the best. Bye.